Carolina Panthers.
Carolina Panthers.
Carolina Panthers.
Questions on why the Carolina Panthers organization is hitting the pause button on construction. Tepper Sports and Entertainment announcing Monday it plans to pause construction on the world-class $800 million Panther headquarters, saying basically its partners on the project are not contributing what was agreed to. And therein lies the question. What specific money are they talking about?
While work still remains paused at the Carolina Panthers headquarters and practice field over financial woes, a business owner is taking matters into his own hands.
There are citizens out there, there are businesses out there that are watching. We do have a voice, and we can and will use that voice, and we can encourage them to collaborate, and we can also hold them accountable as voters.
The South Carolina senator says it's time for David Tepper and the Carolina Panthers organization to honor their word and restart construction in Rock Hill.
I don't have any reason to believe that this isn't going to go forward. The state did its part, the county did its part, the city did its part, and David Tepper needs to be a man of his word and do his part.
Carolina Panther fans speaking out after the organization terminated its original agreement with the city of Rock Hill.
To take a community, especially South Carolina, that's always felt a little aside from it and a little slighted, and to come in and go one team, two states, and then to make a giant mess in our city and then blame us for it and then walk away without discussing it is very disappointing.
South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster talking about the stalled Carolina Panthers deal.
And I'm disappointed at this point that it appears they will not be a part of this great prosperity that we are enjoying.
The contract between the Carolina Panthers and the city of Rock Hill, well, it's over for now. Renee O'Neill joining us here in the studio with reaction as news continues to break at this hour.
Yeah, the Carolina Panthers breaking their silence after weeks of saying nothing. On this Tuesday, they had plenty to say. In a statement, the Carolina Panthers organization says on February 26, 2021, the city of Rock Hill became delinquent on their obligation to fund the public infrastructure.
David Tepper, owner of the Carolina Panthers, speaking out for the first time after Tepper Sports and Entertainment terminated their original agreement with the city of Rock Hill to bring the Panthers headquarters and training facility to the city. Tepper speaking to several reporters, including CN2's Renee O'Neill, on this Wednesday through Zoom. Tepper mainly talked about the upcoming NFL draft and the Carolina Panthers football team. But when it came to the Rock Hill project, he says he will respect the city's request to not have a back and forth in the public about this project. Renee did ask Tepper what is his message to Panthers fans here in Rock Hill who are upset with how this project is playing out in their backyard.
Just in the fans in York County and Rock Hill and South Carolina in general, we will be in South Carolina in different forms. We will be there. We will continue to support the community. I'm just laughing about some people in the community, what they say about me, but no matter what they say about me, we will be there for the people of Rock Hill.
If you've been holding out hope that the Carolina Panthers deal would still work itself out, it won't. It's over, and the word is bankruptcy.
GT Real Estate Holdings LLC, which is based out of Delaware, announcing it has begun a court-led financial restructuring process in Delaware to start what they call, quote, an orderly wind down of the project in Rock Hill. Of course, that real estate company is tied back to the Panthers and David Tepper as they were set to build the headquarters and training facility for the organization. The holdings group says this action follows the termination of agreements with the city of Rock Hill. Now they add they have received a commitment for $20 million in financing that would allow the company to fund a process to address legitimate creditor claims, as well as, quote, preserve, protect, and enhance the Rock Hill site for the benefit of all stakeholders. State Representative Gary Simrell offering up this comment. He says he is, quote, disappointed in this latest action from GTRE. However, as a community, we are resilient.
He also took the time to answer questions for the first time to reporters since David Tepper's real estate company, GT Real Estate, terminated the agreement with the city to bring the Carolina Panthers headquarters and training facility to Rock Hill. Most recently, GTRE filed bankruptcy, ending any lingering hope of the project. Mayor Geddes speaking out.
With the Panthers, the owner filed bankruptcy in order to get away from paying his general contractor that they got to move down to this area, which, is what it is. That site is in the city limits. And the city of Rock Hill owns the water. We own the sewer. We own the electricity. We have zoning, and we have the entitlements. we'll have what's there that needs to be there for the people of Rock Hill's best interest. Nothing's going to be built there or done there without the city of Rock Hill figuring out what's in our best interest going forward.
York County filing a lawsuit against the city of Rock Hill and a number of other parties. Of course, all of this coming back to that failed Panthers project. I'm CN2's Laura Breed Monday with that 21-page document and why the city of Rock Hill says it is a colossal waste of money.
Councilmember Bob Brody is commenting, telling us he can't speak on the legal matter, but was willing to speak in general terms about why so many entities were named in that lawsuit.
The water gets real muddy down at the bottom, and I think this is where we're at. We're at the lowest point in this agreement. We've worked hard for over 3 years now to try to make this deal happen, and we were well on our way. And obviously, due to the lack of a certain party not securing the funding, I think what ultimately led us here. You know, if those funds were made available at the time they were due, I don't think we would be here.
We spoke with Representative Tommy Pope, both as an elected official, but also as an attorney, to try to get some perspective on this lawsuit.
What I saw was the attorneys for York County trying to throw as big a net as possible, particularly as it relates to the Pennies for Progress money and the Mount Gallant money. And so that begs the question, well, why are you bringing Rock Hill into it? Because we're all taxpayers, whether we're city and county taxpayers or county taxpayers. What I read there was more of the lawyers trying to do their best job for York County.
In response to the lawsuit, the city of Rock Hill issuing this statement saying, quote, the city has not breached any contract involving the Panthers Project and remains eager to present the facts. The city of Rock Hill went on to say the county's current lawsuit is both unfortunate and baseless. The statement went on to say the city certainly did not cause the county to turn over $21 million to the Panthers to complete a Pennies for Progress project. The city has offered to work side by side with the county to protect the interests of its citizens.
The failed Carolina Panthers practice facility and headquarters still being debated in a courtroom. The city of Rock Hill is asking a judge to dismiss the city of York County's lawsuit against it and what's being called the Tepper defendants. York County and the Panthers claim the main issue with the project was Rock Hill not issuing the required bonds, but the city of Rock Hill claimed for months now there was no requirement for it to issue those bonds in a certain time frame. The city used that reasoning to explain why it wants this case to be dismissed.
A move this time by the city regarding the ongoing saga with the Panthers property, an official complaint filed in a bankruptcy court in Delaware. In short, the complaint says the city is seeking no less than $20 million in damages, and they're requesting a jury trial.
Questions, hearing and seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.
The city of Rock Hill adding an amendment to its special session called on this Wednesday regarding GT Real Estate Holdings Group. The mayor explaining council decided it was time to file what's called an adversary proceeding into bankruptcy. That means they're going to seek a court decision on whether or not the contract was breached by GTRE, which the city believes is the case.
As everyone knows, the city has not taken public statements or given public statements about this because it's a legal matter, and we'll refrain from doing that because it hurts the people of the city of Rock Hill should we get into a back and forth with other parties in this lawsuit. So our complaint, or the petition that will go into bankruptcy court, clearly lays out all the facts. And if you'll remember at the very beginning of this episode earlier this year, we said facts are stubborn things. So I think once you get a copy of the complaint, you'll have a good feel for all the details.
Well, here's some of what the complaint breaks down. The first 15 pages gives the entire backstory from the city's perspective on what was agreed to and what happened. Then comes what the complaint calls claims for relief. The first cause of action, the city says, is a breach of contract, adding the city has been damaged by the breach and is entitled to recover damages. The second cause is breach of contract accompanied by fraud. The third cause listed says constructive trust, that talks about GTRE getting city infrastructure funding. And the final cause says resulting trust, that goes on to say they expect the judgment will declare the city is the owner of all city-funded infrastructure and not the property of GTRE.
Another twist in the Carolina Panthers failed project here in Rock Hill. A new investigation is taking a look to see if any laws were broken. The State Law Enforcement Division, SLED, confirming it opened a criminal investigation back on November 7th into the transfer of public funds from York County to GT Real Estate. This comes after the York County Sheriff's Sheriff's Office and the 16th Circuit Solicitor Kevin Brackett's office requested SLED to investigate. We spoke by phone with bankruptcy attorney and former South Carolina Representative Mandy Powers-Norrell, who was in Columbia when the Panthers deal went into place.
It was odd because I know it's very unlikely to be related to the bankruptcy, because when there's a suspicion of bankruptcy fraud, that is investigated by the bankruptcy trustee and the federal government. They're the ones who prosecute bankruptcy crimes, so it wouldn't be the sheriff's department. So this has to be something else that they're looking into.
GT Real Estate responding to this criminal investigation, saying, quote, "It would be unfortunate if the recently announced settlement between GTRE and York County were somehow undermined by politically motivated leaks. The timing of these leaks is all the more curious in light of this settlement."
The finish line, hopefully. A judge saying congratulations on finding a workable solution. This is regarding the settlement agreement for the failed Carolina Panthers headquarters facility in Rock Hill. On this Thursday, Delaware Judge Karen Owens expecting some updated paperwork to be filed by the end of the day. The settlement agreement is now a done deal. A judge signed off on it this Friday. The city of Rock Hill, York County, and contractors expected to get back millions. York County will see more than $21 million, $60 million will go to contractors, and the city of Rock Hill will get the property.
Here with Mayor John Geddes. Thanks for taking the time.
Sure, absolutely.
We're talking about that Panthers property. This has been such a process, not just settlements reached, but approved by a judge up in Delaware. Can you bring people up to speed and let us know where we are now?
Sure. Well, we call it the Hutchison property, and I think that's how we'll refer to the property from now on. We reached an agreement with the Tepper organizations back on November 11th as to a settlement between the city and the Panther-related entities. And the judge approved it today. And the judge signed an order that basically says our settlement, the county settlement, everyone else's, some of the contractors, subcontractors are all approved by the court. And that's a good day.
Outside looking in, seemed possibly the word contentious might be there with the county. Talk about that relationship.
Well, the county's still suing the city. This doesn't take that off the table. And the county's going to have to decide whether they want to continue to sue the city or try the case. We won't engage. That'll be their choice to figure out.
In the future, are there any lessons learned, or is this just kind of part of doing business and things shake out funny sometimes?
You know, that's a great question. I'm not sure we'll see an opportunity like what we were presented with several years ago arrive like this. It's a once in a blue moon kind of thing, I guess is the best way to say it. Economic development's hard. I mean, you take people at what they say, you work and you pin things down, but it's the reason we have contracts. It's the reason why the city council, city management, I've been so confident throughout is we had a written agreement and we held everybody to it. And that is the case. That's what you have to do. What we'll see on this site over time, it'll be wonderful. It'll create a lot more tax revenue than we would have seen under the previous agreement. It will lose its Disney World feel to it. And I'm sad about that. I'm not happy about what we were put through because of decisions others made. But when it's all said and done, the city of Rock Hill is going to be in a pretty good spot.
Well, the Panthers are out and the city of Rock Hill is in, and they want to make it more than obvious who owns the property now. We're talking about the more than 200 acres off of Mount Gallant Road that now, after a settlement agreement, belongs to Rock Hill. Once the waiting period was over, where one of the parties could have appealed a ruling, those flags, and many of them went into the ground over this past holiday weekend, were put in. The city says they don't want to call it the former Panthers property anymore. They want to call it the Hutchison property. That's the name of the family that originally owned the land. The mayor has said they won't do anything with the property without getting feedback first from the people of Rock Hill. And as for that I-77 interchange that is still under construction that leads to that site, the state telling us today the interchange is still on schedule and will be substantially completed in the summer of 2023.